Good morning, it's January 2nd. This is Jet 888. I'm just stopping in to say hi, and I wanted to share a little, just some things I'm doing green wise, vegetables, fruits for you guys. Today I took these carrots that I bought at a store. They were getting a little old in the refrigerator, so I decided just to plant them. And I've done this before, and it actually works, where I stuck the carrot in the ground, and this will grow green little leafies and provide some seeds for me for later. And I've got I did the same thing with these green onions, and they'll provide some green onions and also more seeds. I did this with this little citrus. I just stuck the seed from an organic orange, and now it's giving me a little plant, and around it is growing sorrel, which I will just give to, you can either eat it or I'm just going to hand it to my chickens. So I just cleaned the area up around it and give it a little bit more room. But see, my little chickens really like it. Wow, you guys. God, just anyhow, can't we all just get along? Alright, so sharing with the chickens what we would just consider scraps, maybe. They got out yesterday. I've got another group out today, so these guys, the girls, are going to stay in their coop today. Right? That's right. See, they get the pomegranates and other things. Here, you guys. And look, they like to jump for the scraps. We've got Penny hanging out up there. Now we've got these guys who are a little upset. But thank you very much. And we collected our eggs. See, that's a nice return. This is from all three coops, not just these guys. And here's my Mr. Rooster. It's his day out today. No, he's all taking pride in these guys. Hi. And there's Azul, who can come out if he wants. The door's open. Here's just some of my little plants that I started in another teeny little greenhouse. What do we have going on here? We've got chard and spinach and kale. We've got some squash in the back. We've got cilantro. Here's some squash getting ready to flower in a little while. We have some tomatoes. And I even let the stingy nettle that slides in here stay here, because it's a great herb, especially for men, and it has a huge chlorophyll content, so you can make tea from it, but you can also steam it, and it's like spinach, but it has a richer flavor. It's really good. Stingy nettle. If you can find that, you can cook it and eat it. You can't eat it raw. Here's a little apple. This is from an apple tree that I actually planted from a seed, but I had to put it in a pot because a gopher ate it. So it's even produced fruit after I stuck it in a pot after the gopher tried to assault it. Tells you how resilient apples are. Now here's part of a little greenhouse. Here's bok choy is growing, and it's getting ready to seed. So the most important thing for me is to gather the seeds. But here I've got a little zapote tree, and I'll show you the mother in a little while. But I just started these little green onions from a seed. And these little guys here I've got are little white seeds that I found in my chicken food, and the chickens actually like those greens, so I planted those and getting teeny little greens from them. These are just babies. I only planted them I think 2 weeks ago, but they're from seeds that look like this. The chickens like them. This is a baby bell pepper. This is a Brazilian cherry fruit. I can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head, but it's a little Brazilian tree. Now here's a little vine that I just transplanted from another cutting I want to say about 3.5 weeks ago, and it is winter, so I'm going to give it a break. It's not looking super great, but it'll pick up. But all these little guys are going to be vines, and you guys might want to look up this. Let me clean off this sign. I think it's pronounced Jiaogulin, and it is an Asian, like a Chinese vine plant. You guys, it's an herb. Really good for aging and stuff, or not aging, anti-aging. So you might want to check this out. That front letter's a J. J-I-A-O-G-U-L-A-N. Here's some little beans that I just started. This is a baby Antimoya. This is a little bitty baby grape that I started from a seed from one of my mother plants. This is a little baby nectarine tree from a great mother plant. The mother plant was awesome. Anyhow, I planted the seed, so it's not going to be a clone, but it'll be from her. Here's some plantain. This is broadleaf plantain, and this is a really important herb that grows prolifically near wet areas. And this is actually a blood purifier, and it's called broadleaf plantain. And lanceleaf plantain also does good blood purification and insect bites or stings. You could use this as a poultice. You could chew it up if you had to, and pack it in an area if you were bit or stung. So plantain, very important herb. Here's another little zapote tree. I'll show you the mother out front, but again, this is from a seed, and I planted it about 5 months ago. This is an Antimoya that I planted from a seed that a friend gave me. Now this little guy, I think it was about 5 months ago too, well, in the summer, I collected some seeds. This is the lemonade berry. There are very loud cars in the background, sorry about that. But this tree, it makes little berries, and you plop it in your water, and it's really high in vitamin C content, and it's tastes like lemonade. This is an example of what that green onion, the ones that I bought at the store, cut up and put in the ground. This is what you can get from it, and you can just cut off the leaves and add it to your salad. This is a bigger example of those little white seeds, what they grow into. And I feed these to my chickens. And in among them, I've got some beet greens, and some chard. Here's a little wild lettuce that I actually let grow because my chickens love it, and it's also very medicinal, and it's really good for pain control. It has a little white sappy stuff in it that you can crush it up and make tea out of it or whatever. You can even eat the greens, but it's good for pain. It has medicinal purposes. It's called wild lettuce. Here's just what we would consider real lettuce. But I grabbed some of this stuff to give it to the chickens too. This is a bigger example of another zapote. I think I planted this last year. So this is getting into it's about 4.5 feet. I've got a grapefruit tree going. It's pretty prolific. For 20 years it's been really prolific. Here's some eggplant. Now this is a nightshade plant, but I like to cook it in with onions and stuff. But it's a pretty little flower. Where'd that go? Here's a passion fruit vine that came from this mother over here, and this is a really prolific fruit for passion fruit. Passion fruit also helps control pain. Here's some bananas. They're not quite ripe, so you cut them before they ripen, I guess. But also, if you look at the leaves, see how they are really burnt on the bottom? That happened after the rain, not this last rain, but the rain before it. Everything where the water seemed to seep was burnt. I find that really weird. Anyhow, there's the bananas. This is just baby asparagus I planted about probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And I'm going to cut these down, and then they come back a little bit thicker, and these are just babies. These are fava beans, and fava beans are actually really good for, they have human growth hormone. Fava beans, they're easy to grow, they're easy to cook. Here's a two little Brazilian cherries. I'll show you the mother tree in a little while when we go up front, but this is a pretty big pot. It's a, what is it, 30-gallon I think. But so in it I have little baby kale that I just planted a couple weeks ago. So I've got kale growing alongside with this. There's a little parsley, but it's just a baby right there. These two little bushes are hard to make out, but they're the Acerella for Acerella cherry. Really high vitamin C content. Here's more stingy nettle that I'm super grateful for. This is horehound. This is really good for your lungs. If you have congestion in your lungs, this is very, very bitter, which is, bitter means good for digestion, but it's very healing for the lungs. It gets rid of phlegm and mucus buildup. This is Australian finger lime. Here's a teeny little baby. It's already ready to pick, but its little flowers are already coming in. And here are the bees taking advantage. Where'd that bee go? There she is. She's pollinating. Thank you. We're gonna need these, you guys. You can survive for 4 years without the pollinators. That's it. More little baby beans coming in. Just a couple of weeks ago I planted these. Here's parsley, and parsley is really, really good for kidneys. If you have any kidney disease or failure, like just making a tea out of this, don't overdo it, but parsley is a very strong herb for the kidneys. This is just a picture of what I'm going to show you because it's a baby, but these are leaves, you can actually eat them, and this is the Chinese cedar. It's called Chinese cedar Tuna sinensis, and this says the stately tree they have deliciously warm, rich flavor and distinctively bold onion-like aroma. And they say just how sweet, like meaty or savory, is what they kind of describe this as. It says the leaves get their flavor from a range of natural sulfur-based compounds, which people really need sulfur. Onions and garlic contain the same thing. So I'm going to show you the babies. So this is one of the babies. Here's another one. You can see just the leaves are just starting to try to come out. And right here is a boysenberry branch that I stuck in the ground. And soon during spring this will start coming alive. But this Chinese little tree is starting to root. Yeah, I love that. I love the new spring leaves. But it's not spring. That's the problem. Here's some little tomatoes. They've got a ways to go though before they ripen. Panda would like the tomatoes. See, Panda? We have tomatoes in the winter. Well, not tomatoes, but the flowers at least. Now here's a little seed that I just stuck in the ground in just a little Dixie cuppy thing. Put some soil in it, and this is a loquat tree. And loquat, the leaves and the flowers are really good for metal detoxification. Here's some aloe vera, which is an important glyconutrient. You can just, people eat aloe vera all the time. It's a demulcent. It's very soothing to the intestinal tract, skin. Here's another little baby nursery. We've got beans and eggplant, beans, parsley. They're just all starting. There's the little thing of more kale. Kales are really nutritious plant. Now there's a little yellow bell pepper hiding in there. This is some organic corn. I've got a couple more of these all out throughout the place, but I'm going to have to move it out of this vine. This vine makes really good tea. It's another Asian healing, I can't remember the name of the vine. Some more beet greens. We have a little fig tucked over there. I think it's its second year because it gave fruit, so last year. These are some barley or oats. I can't remember what these are. I guess they're oats. They're growing. I just wanted to see if I could grow those seeds. And past this rainbow chard is a little strawberry. I have lots of little strawberry plants here. Here's an antimoya. Cherimoya. Here comes incoming helicopters. This is a Brazilian cherry too. I was on a chair. This is really good. Everything's in winter, remember? Here's a little mango fruit tree. This is an Australian cherry. I have that in the, can't remember what it's called. It starts with a B. Is it Barbados cherry? I can't remember, but there's eggplant right next to it. Now there's part of that mother boysenberry that I showed you that I took a stem or cutting from. That should be giving some good fruit this spring or summer. And here's another one of its little cuttings I did just a couple weeks ago. It's sprouting greens, but it'll have to go through the winter. Now this little herb they call borage or bee bread, but it is good. It's got omega-6s. I eat the seeds that it provides, and it's, oh my gosh, good for inflammation, pneumonia, irritable bowel syndrome, immune system building, all kinds of stuff. It's borage, B-O-R-A-G-E. This here is Tulsi tea. It's holy basil is another name. It's very calming, soothing tea you can make. It's aromatic. It's a really nice, very good for stress. I think we could all use one of these. And the thing is with this, you have to cut it back after it seeds, because look at the seeds it has. So you cut that back and then the tree does better. But all those little sticky things out, those are goji berries, and they're very prolific in season. It's out of season now though, but they're little orange, really good also with omega-6s. We have more incoming. Yep. And it's weird. Look at that. 2 and 2. They're following each other. Here, two little allspice trees. They're, again, everything's in wintertime. Now look at the, that looks like it's had salt on it or something, but after the rain, these guys did not like it. This is one of my little coffee plants. It's got little coffee berries, and these berries, when they get ripe, the red berry is very, very good. It's got lots of antioxidants. But boy, when this, I like the coffee too, but one reason why I grow coffee is for the red berries. There's some more of its little berries. We're looking through a graviola tree right now, and graviola is super beneficial. But again, after this last rain, before I had this cover on it, the rain burnt, literally damaged so much of my leaves. I don't know how bad it's going to damage it, but it never ever has looked like this. And look at these leaves. So I decided to cover it to try to protect it. But graviola, hopefully it'll pull out of this. But those leaves look like they were just toxic or something from the rain. I have another baby graviola going too, but hopefully this mama graviola will pull out of it. Oh my god, my writing sucks. But here's Andrographis. This is another herb you might want to look into. I just planted these seeds, so they're trying to come up. They've got some weeks or months though. Here's more strawberry. And this is one orange tree, but it gives blood orange, a grapefruity type of orange, but these guys are ready to eat. I cut it up for you guys so you could see. I love the fruit. Now here's the persimmon tree, which is at the middle end of its season, and obviously we're sharing it with the birds, which I don't mind. This tree is really prolific. Look, the birds want me to leave. And here's some persimmon jam that I made from those, or preserves. Should probably get the air out of there, but that was just yesterday I made those. And remember that little, the baby zapotes I made, or I showed you? And I planted their seeds just a couple months ago to a couple weeks ago. This is the mother. And those are the fruit, the sapote fruit. This is a white sapote. Produces very custard-like, soft fruit. So it's probably one reason why no one sees them in the store, because they're hard to transport. He's not hard to transport, huh, Dragon? But this is from a bucket I picked this morning, and I'll make probably cake from it because it's really moist. Either eat it fresh, the horses love it. The seeds are actually very relaxing. I don't eat the seeds, but the horses do. And it's a very soft fruit. I took a bite so you can see what it would look like inside. It's very soft and custard-like. And he just ate one, didn't you? Now here I just dumped a bunch of little kale seeds in this little aquarium, this broken aquarium, and I guess it just protected enough through the winter, but these are pretty prolific little kale. More kale. This is elderberry that's getting ready to come out. It's just finished. Well, I don't know what it's doing, but it's acting like it's spring, but they're just starting to get, whoops. Sorry about that. But elderberry is good for our immune system too. Here's some, giant, what is this? Not broccoli, it's not kale, not chard, I can't remember what this is, but it's good. It's a cruciferous, this vegetable here. It's pretty prolific, it's pretty tall. Now here's some more of that plantain I was showing you, and here are the seeds. You can actually eat the seeds. It has a high protein content. So if anyone's ever out in the wild near a wet area, look for this. Also found in parks, a little smaller though, but you can find this in parks. Well, here's a Saigon cinnamon. Saigon cinnamon is a little bit more of the rare cinnamon, but it's very medicinal, very healing. It's an astringent. Look, it's starting to come out with little baby tips. Can't focus on that, sorry. This is a gumi plant. The little seeds that you can eat, the birds like it, but also it's sweet and kind of like a gummy sweet, but also it's kind of a astringent taste to it. It's pleasant. Here's some of the passion fruit. This is a more rare passion fruit. It's a little bit sweeter, but this is a baby. I just stuck one of the branches from the mother tree in the ground probably about 3 weeks ago. Now here's more baby squash I'm growing, more eggplant, another little citrus tree, some more plantain. The chickens like the plantain, so do the horses. Here's some arugula. Arugula is really prolific. It's really easy to grow. It's also an astringent. Anything that's spicy is kind of like an astringent. Here's some more kale. There's some, that's a leek actually, that little leeky thing. Chard, parsley, and leek all in one. Might be hard to pick out, but this is a little apple tree that I just took a branch from my mother apple and stuck it in the ground, and there she is. More beet greens. That's the horehound, that's good for your lungs herb that I'd recommend people get. More lance leaf plantain. Now here's a peanut butter tree, little young one, but again, after the rain hit, the rain did to this little peanut butter tree what it did to my graviola tree. It just like poisoned the leaves. I mean, that's just a weird burning, almost like a chemical kind of weird burn. So here's some more leeks, and look at the branch has a bunch of little seeds, and it looks like I could nip those off and stick them in the ground and they would grow. I'll try that because I guess I missed the seed season. I have about 4 of these little plants, and I can't remember the name of them, but they're little, I think they're a Filipino fruit, and they give a dark berry, astringent, some tannins, but it's a nice little pleasant fruit, and I started it from a seed. So we got 2 of these and 1 in the back. And there's lettuce and more of that green cruciferous stuff. I can't remember what it is. It's not broccoli, something like that. More baby citrus that I just stuck the seeds into the ground. Here's spinach. This just kind of keeps giving. I just pick off the leaves. He tries to pick off the leaves too. Don't you, Ophir? Anyhow, there's spinach. This is poke root, but you got to be careful with this. But the root is actually a great anti-inflammatory for the lymph nodes. If anyone has lymphedema, look into poke root. Make some tea. You only need like a tablespoon or teaspoon a day of this. Here's a dwarf grapefruit, and it gives great fruit for years and years and years. It has. And here's a papaya tree. I've got about 4 of them, maybe 5. One gopher tried to eat it, so I stuck it in the ground and it's growing again. But there's some papaya. Here's the biggest papaya, and it's just giving, I can't see, the sun's too bright, but somewhere in there there's little flowers. There they are. Here's that first papaya I showed up close. The seeds themselves are very, very good enzymes for digestion, and just enzymes in general, just very beneficial. We can't live without enzymes. Now here is a much needing of trimming, but this is an apple tree. I started from a seed from an organic apple I bought, and it's really prolific too. This is at the end of its season. We share these with the horses and us. Here's my lemon tree. Lemons are really good to alkalize the system. You just put it in your water. It'll help alkalize and also give you your vitamin C, which helps connective tissue. Here's another orange tree stuck in the back, but it's prolific. Oh, there's some more apples. Look, a bird got that one. That means the horses will get it. But this fruit, the apples are so good, but it definitely needs cutting back. After the fruit and after the cold, I'll cut it back, but I don't want cold damage with the newly cut leaves, branches. Here's the loquat tree. I showed you a new little seed that I had just started. So that was from the mother of this tree the last season, which just about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. No, maybe it's longer than that. Probably a couple months ago, but I took the seed and planted. But these flowers and the leaves, in a study that I saw, the tea from these is very, very good and medicinal for detoxing from heavy metals. And I think it's mercury is what I think that's what it detoxes from. But it's getting ready for another season. Those are, see that bees on that? This is one of my quince trees. Again, I just got the last quince off it a couple weeks ago, so it's going dormant. This is again an old dormant jujube fruit. They're at the very last season, very ripe. So I probably wouldn't eat these anymore, although they would be okay, but they're just dropping their last fruit. And jujube is a Chinese fruit. Very good for people if you have cancer. And here's that the mother of the Brazilian cherry. I should probably cut that down, just trim it a little bit, but this is a Brazilian fruit tree, and oh my god, the fruit is probably the best fruit I've ever tasted. It's like round little purple dark cherry with a big pit in the middle. And the big pit, I have about 5 other trees now from this mother. And here's Dragon. You want a treat? Okay. Here you go. Let go. Let go. You got a treat. Here's my little pear. Very end of the season, but the fruit is really good. It just looks like a sorry tree right now, but it was very prolific. Here's my blueberry. I'm not good with blueberries. It's getting ready to flower though, but they need high acid soil. Anyhow, there's a little berry right there. Now here's some more arugula that just took off wild, and it's keeping my little baby papaya company there. So among that, or past this arugula and blueberry, there's these are sea grapes. This will be my first season I have them, so can't really report on the taste or anything, but I have 3 of these guys. They're pretty hardy in all kinds of weather and stuff and soil. Now here's just stuff that I have for, this is alfalfa, some barley, some mallow. This mallow plant, I don't know if you guys have had that, but it gives little buttons. It is a demulcent that you can eat. Henry gets some barley. Here's a little loquat tree. It's at the end of its season, but there's still some just new coming in fruit on it. This tree's almost over prolific. I can't keep up with it. Here's a baby lychee fruit. It's really good, but after the rain again, got burnt, so I put this little greenhouse cover on it. It also keeps the moisture in it, but we'll just see what happens if it's protected from it. Just the rain seems like it's really damaging. That's a guava tree. It's really prolific, but October is the end of its season, so now it's going dormant. Here's a zapote that just decided to take off by itself, so I'm just letting it stay, but I guess I fed one of the fruits to the horses and they dropped the seed, and now I've got a tree. I just picked these grapefruit. We've got some, I think these are Algerian tangerines. So here's that little tangerine, and thank goodness it has seeds, because I'm having a hard time having my fruit give us many seeds. So I'll take those 2 and start with them. And if I have any video left, this is the moringa tree. It's really good. It's very high in minerals and vitamins. They use this in Africa to help people get some good nutrition. Very easy to grow. There's one of its seed pods up there. It's not ready yet. I opened one pot a little too early, and but the seed, I ate the seed and it was very sweet. But I'm gonna let it ripen a little bit longer. But that's about an inch or a foot and a half, maybe a little longer, of a seed pod, which is kind of cool. And we got a little flowers coming in. Whoops, it doesn't want me to focus. And here's Matlock. He wants to know what we're doing, but go mind your own business. All right, you guys, I've showed you enough. Anyhow, there's a super prolific grapevine behind this tangerine tree, which I'm gonna have to cut. It's time to really cut it back. But anyhow, there's some of my foraging stuff. I hope you all are getting yours started, and just start with seeds. Start with any seeds you get at a store, but let's start planting, guys.